Hey, hello all, welcome to my channel. And today's topic it would be we're gonna talk about more into operators. The next operator is post increment and decrement operator. Okay, so this plays a major role in when we get into loops. So that's where I'm gonna discuss more into increment and decrement operator. Okay, so increment and decrement operator, this plus plus and minus minus includes like we call it as increment and decrement operator, and how it can be used and where we can be used so that we gonna see it. Okay, so plus plus operator can be called as increment operator. So we have two things. One is post increment and the other one is pre-increment. So the name itself says that it is post and the second one is pre, so before and after, right? So let's see what is the difference between post increment and pre-decrement with an example. Prior to that, let me give you brief about how it can be used, right? So what is the difference between post increment and pre-increment? And let me give you with an example. That is, let us say there is a variable, integer variable, and this variable plus plus, if you give variable plus plus, that itself we called as a post increment, and a plus plus variable we call it as a pre-increment. So which means we're gonna say this plus plus variable is we call it as post increment, and this plus plus variable it will be called as pre increment. This is post increment. If you want to give it as a post increment, then it is variable plus plus. So this would be same as we can say that variable v equals to v plus 1. So we're gonna increment only one to that variable. So that's what it means if it is plus plus. Okay, so we're gonna see the real world example how it would be varies from when you keep it outside of the statement and when we keep it inside the frame, inside the statement. Okay, so that we can see it. So let us get into the the other one, that is minus minus operator, that is pre-decrement or post decrement, right? So same way, like if you give, let us take an example. If there is a variable, integer variable, if you give variable minus minus, this is we call it as post decrement, and this is minus minus variable, we call it as pre-decrement, right? Let me put this with an example and see how it can be used in real scenarios, right? So example with post decrement, post increment, and then pre-decrement and pre-increment, right? So let's see, there is a public static void main, and then inside that there is a variable integer a which has been declared, and a value is 10, right? As soon as the compiler sees this a, so it will be a memory of 4 bytes. It will be allocated for a, so the value will be 10. Okay, so let us assume that it is inside something called the memory location. Assuming that this is the memory location, so the memory location will changes from configuration to configuration. So assuming that it has been assigned for 4 bytes. Okay, so it has been assigned 4 bytes, and then a value is 10, right? So now after that, next one is we're gonna print a. So whenever you print a, so the value 10 will be printed, and then a plus plus is said like post increment. So what does it mean, the post increment a plus plus? So the value will be incremented by 1, which means, as I said, like this would be a equals to a plus 1, so which would give you 10 plus 1, that is the value would be 11 after this statement, right? So it would be after this statement. I said after this statement, not within this statement, right? Do remember this point. It would be after this statement. Okay, so the next step would be like we're gonna print a. So after this statement, the value would be 11. We could see it here, and the next one is plus plus a. Again, the a value would get incremented by 1. That is 11 plus 1, which is 12. So which would get printed over there, and a minus minus it would be decremented by 1, and minus minus a it would be decremented by 1. Let's see what would be the output for all this. So first one is you know the output is 10. Okay, as we know that the value is 10, and the second one is 11 since it has been executed after this statement. If you could clearly observe this print a is after this statement a plus plus, which means a value will get incremented by 1, right? That is post increment. After this a plus plus, the value would be 11. Okay, and same is for plus plus a. So before executing this statement, the a value will get incremented, but we are not printing anywhere, so that's where the a value will get 12 over here. And here a minus minus, this is post decrement, which is we are not printing anywhere, so that's where the a value after this statement will become 11, so 11 will be printed here, and then 10 will be printed here. Okay, so there is no difference whenever you keep it outside of the statement, that is a plus plus or plus plus a or a minus minus or minus minus a. So there won't be any difference, which you could see it now, right? So let me show you what would be the output. See the output same, like 10, 11, 12, and then in decremented 11, and then again decremented 10, right? So this is what happens whenever you try to put it outside of the statement, right? What happens if what is the real difference that you will come into real difference that comes into picture? Let's see how the real confusion comes into picture, right? So we're gonna get confused with this. Okay, so this example will give you brief and clear picture about what happens to what is post increment or this pre increment, and what is you know pre decrement and post decrement, right? So there is a variable 10, and we know that as soon as it sees this, so a variable, and then a memory would be allocated, which is the value would be 10, and let us assume that this is in memory 1000. Okay, so now the value of a is 10. Let us go one after the other. So I have different, prints which is present, but this time I kept it inside this a plus plus and minus minus has been kept inside a statement, that is inside system.out.println. So as I said, this is post increment, which means the value of a will get incremented only after this statement. Okay, so which means still while printing a, the value of a would be 10. Okay, after that, after this statement, when it comes into this statement, so before getting into this statement, the value of a will become 11. Okay, so this is what it is before getting into this 11. And then since it is pre-increment, before executing this statement, the a value will get incremented by 1, that is 12, which means before printing it itself, the value of a would become 12. Okay, and what happens if a minus minus? I said, like, it would be post decrement, which means the a value is still 12, and it will print the value is 12, but the decrement happens after this statement, which means the a value is 11 now. So this is pre-decrement. Okay, so which means before printing this statement, the a value will get reduced by 1, that is 10. So it will print 10 here. The and output is the, as usual, if you could see this, just we are not doing any other operations, the value of a is 10. Okay, so this is clear difference between post increment and pre increment, and post decrement and pre decrement. Okay, let me give you one more example with a lot of a plus post increment and pre decrement, and then you will get a clear picture about what is this all about, right? So so what would be the output? If you could see, as I said, the output of a is 10 here, because it is this prints after uh, a value will get incremented after printing it. And next one is, it is 12 because this is pre-decrement. Okay, and it is 12 because this decrement happens after execution of the statement. Okay, and then since it is pre-decrement, so after this statement, the a value is 11, and pre-decrement, which will reduce 1 from it, because before executing it, it will reduce 1 from it, and then it will print 10, and then finally 10 again. Okay, So that's what 10, 10, 12, and it is 12 and then 10. So that's how it would be. Okay, so let me put it in program as well. I have already written a program. Okay, so let me show you that this is the one which I have been talking about. So let me run this first one, and which it says that a value is here. It is initially it is 10, a plus plus it is 11, plus plus a it is 12, and then minus my a minus minus 11 and then 10. So let me execute this, right click and run as Java application. So it says 10, 11, 12, 11, 10. So the real difference comes, as I said, like, the real difference comes whenever you try to execute inside a statement, right? So here, if you could, clearly observe, let me, okay. So if you could clearly observe this, okay. So as I said, like the output should be 10. Our first print is 10, second print is 10, 10, 10, 12, 12, 10, 10, right? So let's see whether the output is coming in correct way or not. And let me explain how it works. See, 10, 10, 12, 12, 10, 10. So as I said, like it is, first one is 10 because it doesn't have any increment or decrement. And the second one, it is 10 because the execution after this statement executes, a value will get printed first and then it will increment. Okay, so whenever it comes to this statement, line number 7, so before coming into this statement, the a value is 11 because it's just cross line number 7. Okay, and when it comes to plus plus a, so which happens, the pre-increment before printing it off, it has to increment the a value by 1, which means, like, it would be 12. So other in the same manner, it will be for a minus minus as well as minus minus a. Okay, so let's get into the one more example which gives you clear picture about what is how the post decrement and pre decrement, post increment and pre increment will work, right? So I have a variable a. Again, I'm printing a, and then plus plus a plus plus a plus plus a plus plus minus minus a, print a minus minus a minus minus a. Okay, so let's do one after the other, how it would be. So since it doesn't have anything, so we have the output would be 10 because there is nowhere the value is changed. So the a value would get printed as 10. So it is pre-increment, which means before executing this statement, the a value will get incremented and it will print 11. Okay, and a value still remains 11. So a value still remains 11 after this statement, right? And then here it is pre-increment, which means the a value will get incremented first and then it will print it. Okay, so which means the value will be 12 for a. So here it is post increment, which means it will print 12, and after coming over here, the a value will get incremented by 13. Okay, so it is again post increment. The value of a is 13 now, so it will increment the value of 13. It will print the value of 13, and after the statement, the value of a will get increased by 1, that is 14. Minus minus a, which means the pre-decrement, first the value will be reduced and then it will print it, that is 13. So the value of a, which is 13, and again it is post decrement, so will be 13, and then after execution of the statement, it will be 12 now, and 12. So it is again, post decrement, the value of a is 12, and which will get decremented by 1, and finally this would be a, that is 11. Okay, so that's how the output will come, like, first initially 10 and 11 and then 12, 12, 13, 13, 13, one more 13, 12, and 11. So this is how the output looks like. Let me go back and run the same code and see what could be the output. It is 10, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 13, 13, 12, 11, right? Let me execute this. So if you could see 10, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 1, it 4 times 13, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 13, and then 12 and 11. All right. So this how, the increment and post increment and post decrement, pre increment and post pre increment and pre decrement works. Okay. So any questions, any comments would be always appreciated. Right. Thank you for watching and happy learning. Leave your comments, valuable comments in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and do share with your friends.